Detective Jamie Chesney.
How long have you been a detective?
I've been a detective for 2 years. I've been a police officer for a total of 11 years.
What kind of training did you go through for this position?
For the detective training, I took a 40-hour detective school at Midland Training.
And what did this training include?
The training included investigations, locating and preserving documents, homicide techniques, and such forth.
So what kind of case are we here for today?
Today was for a homicide investigation.
How did you become acquainted with it?
Now, my detective sergeant gave me a call about a missing child, and the person who gave a call is Corbin Dallas.
Who's Corbin Dallas?
Corbin Dallas is the legal guardian of Miss Parker Page.
And what was your first step?
My first step was to interview Mr. Corbin Dallas, and he informed me that Miss Parker Page was missing for over 24 hours, and he had no idea where she was located.
What did you do next?
Next, I had permission of my sergeant to block off 5 block radius around Corbin Dallas's location.
Did you find anything?
Unfortunately, we did not. Then I conducted another interview to Mr. Corbin Dallas.
What kind of information did you gain from that?
Mr. Corbin Dallas informed me that she had an iPhone, and on this phone there's an app to locate the phone.
Did you gain a location?
Yes, we gained a location. Last known location was at Colton's campground. The phone was turned off, so there was no way actually communicating, giving that phone a call. So with Midland State Police and the Wildlife and Fishery, we headed to the Colton campground.
What did you find at Calkins?
Before I made it to, when I made it to Colton campground, I conducted an interview with the owner, Amari Rodriguez, and I showed her a picture of Miss Jordan Ryder and Parker Page, and she informed me that they were at that campsite.
Where were they?
She said that they were staying at campsite 12, which is pretty far away from the campsites 1 through 8.
Did you go there?
Yes, I did.
And what did you find?
I found a green tip. I introduced myself as Detective Chesney, and no one came out of the tent.
So what happened next?
I tapped on the tent. I wasn't expecting anybody to come out. Miss Ryder woke up from her slumber.
What contact did you have with Jordan?
Can you restate that?
What, if any, contact did you have with Jordan Ryder?
I asked her if she'd seen Miss Parker. She said she had no idea where she was located. And I asked, I did pulled up her record and I discovered that she was on parole.
Did you arrest her?
Yes, I believe that she was in a violation of her parole because there was a missing child. So I didn't do the arrest. I asked my one of my officers to make the arrest.
Was she read her Miranda rights?
The arresting officer read her Miranda rights.
Did you search her?
Yes, I searched her.
And what did you find?
I found a crumble napkin in her pocket.
If I showed you a picture of this napkin, would you recognize it?
Yes, I would.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that I'm approaching the opposing counsel with State's Exhibit 26. May I approach the bench?
Please.
Would you like a copy?
I would. Thank you.
May I approach the witness?
Thank you.
Detective Chesney, what have I just handed you?
The napkin that I discovered on Miss Parker Page.
And is this a fair and accurate copy?
I'm sorry, not Parker Page. Jordan Ryder.
Sorry. Is this a fair and accurate copy of the napkin that you found?
Yes, it is.
Has it been altered in any way?
No, it's not.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to offer, file, and submit into evidence State's Exhibit 26.
Case number under Rule 403, I object on the grounds of more prejudicial than probative. As this napkin was not offered by the detective, he cannot offer testimony or speculate as to what those statements mean. And if the detective were to speculate, we're in danger of unfairly prejudicing the jury.
So your argument is that it is a weight balance and this is more prejudicial and probative,
Yes,
but
sir.
also you're objecting to his providing testimony that is an opinion?
I'm not asking Detective Chesky to speculate on the meaning of these, I'm just asking what effect this had on him and his investigation, effect on the listener.
Okay, for those grounds, I'll allow that part. Now, would you please address the 403 issue?
This is the opposing party statement, and according to the stipulation, Jordan Ryder has admitted to writing this napkin. This is his statements, and again, the effect on the listener and his investigation.
Your Honor, may I reserve the right to re-raise my objection if the witness begins to speculate as to the specific meaning outside of further
Absolutely.
actions?
Absolutely. So that objection is withdrawn. You may proceed.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to direct your attention to a few things written on this napkin. First off, there are, under 911, can you read what it says?
It says 911 underline, quotation, "I'm so sorry this happened. It was just all my fault." That's X'd out. "I was just so angry." That's X'd out. "I did not mean to do it." That's X'd out. Quotation, "missing," and that's circled.
Who wrote this?
Miss Jordan Ryder. How I discovered that Miss Jordan Ryder wrote this napkin is when I did the interview and the interrogation. I pulled out the napkin and I said, "Miss Ryder, is this your handwriting?" And she said yes.
All right, now I'd like to direct your attention to some numbers, or excuse me, some items that are listed on this napkin, starting with phone. Can you read those aloud?
Can you repeat that, please?
Can you read the items that are listed on here, along with phone, under phone?
Okay, yeah. Phone, there's a check mark, stick, knife, shovel, and they're all pointing to Pete and question marks.
Did these correlate with anything in your investigation?
Yes, I did. After I made the arrest of Miss Ryder, I asked the permission to search the area of Rodriguez's campsite. And then after I had the permission of Rodriguez, I searched Miss Ryder's tent. This is where I discovered the stick, knife, and shovel.
What about the phone?
The phone wasn't discovered until a week later, after we put a $2,000 award out for an information. Then there was another witness that came, said he discovered the phone crashed under the dumpster.
Whose phone was this?
The phone had a picture of Miss Jordan Ryder and Parker Page.
But did you find out who it belonged to?
Yes, that was the phone that was located, that was in Parker Page's, and that was the phone that had the app with my last location of the from Miss Parker Page.
And then I'd like to draw your attention to one last thing, Detective. Can you read some numbers that are listed at the top of the napkin?
Yes. 10K now, there's an arrow pointing to 50K, question mark, 75K, question mark, a 100K, question mark, 200K, question mark, and that's a circle with a check.
And do these numbers correlate with anything in your investigation?
Yes, it did. During the interrogation, we were talking about Miss Parker Page's brittle bone disease, and I said, your health insurance must be really expensive. And then she replied with something along the lines of health insurance, and that kind of rose my suspicions. So I pulled off her Parker Page's life insurance.
And what about the life insurance policy correlates with this numbers?
We saw a upgrade on the policy.
What was the upgrade from?
I'm sorry.
What was the starting amount?
Starting amount was $10,000.
Objection, Your Honor, is to testify to false non-evidence. This life insurance policy is exhibit in today's case, and I just ask that you offer it before we begin testifying as to what it contains.
Okay, at this time, I would believe that such testimony be premature as the exhibit has not been offered. I'll sustain the objection.
Well, Detective Chesney, if I showed you a copy of this life insurance policy, would you recognize it?
Of course I would.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that I'm approaching opposing counsel with State's Exhibit 25. May I first amend?
Yes.
That's my turn.
I'm sorry. I thought you said with this. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I apologize.
No, what if I just stand?
Maybe the life insurance policy that
Is it a fair and accurate copy of the life insurance policy?
Yes, it is.
And has it been altered in any
the truth of the matter asserted in today's case.
Can you be specific?
This entire document was created by a party that is out of court, so it is not happening in court today. This is being offered for the truth of the matter asserted that Jordan Ryder killed Parker Page for the purposes of getting this life insurance policy, so it is going to the
Okay.
truth of the
I
matter.
thought that the officer testified that this is the amounts that this policy was increased to. And then you've made an inference that indicates that your client murdered the child. Did he testify to anything beyond the fact that this was an increase?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Stay.
This document is accepted from hearsay because it reflects an interest in property from the opposing party.
Can you direct me to a rule regarding that?
I believe it's 80415, maybe? 14.
Okay, so your contention is that this falls under Article 803, subsection 15, statements in documents that affect the interest in property?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Your Honor, 80315 goes more in terms of things such as wills or things that have an interest in physical property. I do not believe this life insurance would fall under this umbrella.
So I disagree because I think it does, as you state, go to wills, and I think that an increase in life insurance is very similar to a change in the will. So for that reason, I will deny your objection, and this can be admitted. Did you move to admit or just reference it?
Two.
Okay, it may be admitted over.
Detective Chesney, I'd like to ask you a few things about this document. When was the life insurance policy began?
Yes, this is what kind of really put a light bulb in my head. It was started, the application was started at 10:42 a.m. at July 14th, 2018.
And what was the starting amount?
It was a 10,000 basic burial.
Is this what's reflected on the napkin?
As there's a 10,000K now pointing over to 50K, 75K, 100K.
Objection, Your Honor, is to speculation. This witness did not author the napkin and therefore cannot know for sure whether this correlates with this amount.
Sustain.
All right, and back to the insurance policy, what was it raised to?
It was raised to 200,000 at 3:12 a.m. on July 15th, 2018.
No further, Your Honor. Can I ask if I would speak under the policy?
Please.
Dixie?
Okay.
Good morning, Detective Chesney. Now, you are the lead investigator for this case today, right?
Yes.
Now, the point of an investigation is to seek justice, right?
Yes.
And in order to seek justice, it is important to find the responsible party correctly, right?
Yes.
So in order to do that, you collect all of the evidence and let all of that evidence lead you to your conclusion, right?
Yes.
So what you don't do is pick a conclusion and only find evidence to support that conclusion, right?
I did not do that.
Now, you wrote a report for today's case, right?
Yes, I did.
And the purpose of that report is to catalog all of the witnesses you talked to, evidence gathered, anything relevant to the case.
Yes, I did.
Now, you included everything relevant in your report, right?
Yes, I did.
So anything you did not investigate would not be present in that report?
Yes.
I'd like to turn to what you did in your investigation. You got the case at 7:30, right?
Yes, I did.
But the first actual investigating you did was when you got to Corbin Dallas's at 8 a.m.
Yes, I did.
And from talking to Corbin, Jordan Ryder became your primary suspect.
No.
So after all of your discussions with Corbin Dallas, and Corbin Dallas indicating to you that Jordan had kidnapped Parker, at that point, Jordan became your suspect, right?
I've never accused Jordan Ryder of kidnapping. Jordan Ryder was my suspect after we talked to Mr. Lauren Rodriguez.
Is it your testimony today that you never charged Jordan Ryder with kidnapping?
I didn't charge Jordan Ryder with kidnapping until I made the arrest.
So you still suspected Jordan Ryder of being involved in Parker's absence, right?
Can you please restate? Not actually.
Answer the question the best you can.
Okay. As I think what you're trying to say is that after I made the arrest of Miss Ryder,
I'm talking about specifically before you got to Calkins Campground, but after you talked to Corbin Dallas. Whenever you went to Calkins Campground, you looked up the arrest record of Jordan Ryder, right?
no. I looked up the arrest record of Jordan Ryder after I conducted the interview with Miss Ryder.
Is it your testimony today that you looked up the record of Jordan Ryder after the interrogation?
Which interrogation?
The interrogation that you conducted with Jordan Ryder?
I think so.
Let the record reflect, I am approaching counsel with the defendant's report. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Sure.
I am approaching you with a copy of your report. Do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Is that a fair and accurate copy of your report?
Yes, it is.
Does it appear to be changed or altered?
No, it hasn't.
Now, I'd like to direct your attention to number 15 in that report.
Number 15, page 15?
No, the section number 15.
Section number 15.
May I help check your attention?
Yes, please. Line 15?
Yes. Please read silently as I read aloud. S. Ryder also had a MCPD record. S. Ryder was arrested for misdemeanor domestic violence assault twice in 2008 and 2010. The victim was listed in both reports as Dallas. The 2008 case was dismissed, and the 2010 case resulted in a plea of guilty. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Then directly after that, number 16, at 0900 hours, I arrived at the state park and spoke to Armani Rodriguez. Did I read that
Yes,
correctly?
you did.
So you looked up Jordan Ryder's record before you arrived at the campground, right?
Yes, I did.
Now, whenever you looked up Jordan Ryder's record, you saw that there was these misdemeanor terms, right?
Yes.
And you saw that Jordan Ryder was on parole.
Yes.
But you didn't know what those parole conditions were, did you?
No, I did not.
And you never learned at any point what those parole conditions were.
No, I did not.
Now, turning to when you actually arrived at the campground, when you spoke to Armani Rodriguez. Now, at this point, Parker Page was still being treated as missing persons, right?
That's correct.
But you never asked Armani about potential hazards at the campground,
No, I actually walked that myself.
and you also never asked about potential places that Parker could be hiding.
She wouldn't, I believe she would know where she would hide, since it was a campsite.
So that is a yes to my question. You didn't ask Armani for potential places Parker could be hiding.
Did not.
Now, Armani led you to campsite 12 where Jordan Ryder was, right?
Yes.
And you had a discussion with Jordan,
Yes.
and this was at 10 a.m.
Yes.
And at 10:09, you had Jordan arrested.
Yes.
And the grounds of that arrest was a parole violation, weren't they?
Correct.
Now, sometime after talking to Jordan around 10:40, you were weighed down by Kelly Deuce, right?
That is correct.
And Kelly Deuce thought that they knew where Parker had been.
That is correct.
And Kelly was able to lead you to the exact spot at the top of the cliff where Parker's body was found, correct?
Not exactly. She led me to broken bushes and then that led her up to the top of the trail.
So that is a yes, that Kelly Deuce was able to lead you to that point where Parker was found?
That's correct.
Now, later on that day, you interrogated Jordan Ryder, right?
Yes.
And after that interrogation, you charged Jordan with kidnapping and murder, right?
Yes,
But you don't have any DNA evidence before you charged, right?
that's correct.
No fingerprints,
That's correct.
no surveillance video,
That's correct.
no direct eyewitness testimony saying they saw Jordan murder Parker.
That is correct.
And then 3 days after the charge, Dr. Quincy released a medical report, right?
That is correct.
And that medical report initially could not rule out an accident as the cause of death, could it?
That is correct.
But you only investigated how it could have been a murder, right?
That is correct.
And your only suspect was Jordan Ryder.
Yes, majority of the time when a family member goes up missing, it's going to be either a parent or someone close within the family.
Thank you, Detective Chesney, but directing you back to my question, your only suspect was Jordan Ryder.
Yes, like I said before.
Thank you, Detective. Now, you never asked Armani Rodriguez for a list of all of the people present at the campground, did you?
I did not, since there was not that many people there.
But you still didn't ask for a list?
I did not.
You didn't ask who was camping closest to Parker?
Campsite 12 was very secluded, so there was no other campsites I was near it.
But directing you to my question, you didn't ask who was closest?
No, I did not.
Now, talking about the people who you know were present that day, you didn't ask Armani Rodriguez for an alibi, did you?
I did not.
You didn't ask anyone to confirm their whereabouts?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
You didn't ask anyone to confirm Armani's whereabouts?
Did not.
You didn't do a background check on Armani?
Did not.
You didn't ask if Armani had a hiking staff?
Did not.
Now, let's talk about Kelly Dews. You also never did a background check on Kelly Dews?
No, sir. No, ma'am.
You never asked for an alibi from Kelly Dews?
No, ma'am.
Never asked anyone if they could confirm Kelly's whereabouts?
No, ma'am.
Never asked if Kelly had any equipment such as a hiking staff?
I did not.
Thank you. No further questions.
Any further questions, Vice State?
Mr. Director, I just asked the vote of this meeting on the subject.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Due relation